she's never been on stage before, ever. Don't make any sudden moves or make direct eye contact. Here, Sharon, have a seat, and we'll have a little interview. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk to Sharon for a little bit, and then we'll take some questions from y'all. Is that okay? I'm so excited. Sharon, welcome to Pensacon in Pensacola, Florida. I was just told backstage, you're gonna love this, that this building used to be a prison.
Yeah, I've been there. Wow.
So,
Sydney, New York, Milan, London, Los Angeles,
that's her new reality show.
Pensacola.
Sharon Needles, My Life Behind Bars. Now, what I love most about your drag, Sharon, for those of you who aren't familiar, you are fearless in what you do and what you say. Where does that come from? I know you're from Pittsburgh originally. Is that like if we were doing a 23andMe, do you come from a long line of ship starters?
Well, I'm not originally from Pittsburgh,
Okay.
but I live in Pittsburgh because a lot of drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, they all moved to Hollywood.
They did.
But I'm a Hollywood 3, but I'm a Pittsburgh 10. So I like to stay where I look good, but I come from a small town called Newton, Iowa. It's the home of Maytag dishwashers and dryers, and Time magazine in 1996 called it the meth capital of the world. And I dabbled in.
It was Fresno, so I stand corrected.
It's true. I dabble in one of those things, and I don't do laundry unless I'm on methamphetamines, and I'll do all your laundry. But I don't have muscle here. But I don't go to the gym. But I have worked out the muscle of my tongue to be vernacularly and disturbingly aggressive with the way that I can speak, because it's the only way I know how to defend myself.
Many people scare me. I don't know if you've ever been to the White Party in Palm Springs. It's this a convention in the middle of the desert in California for gay men who enjoy crystal meth. And when I showed up, they looked like the lemurs in Madagascar. They were like, I want to move it.
It's true that they did it. It's so weird they did it this month to have a white party during Black History Month.
Yes,
it really
it's strategic placement.
So
So tell us what it's like to grow up in Iowa, in a small town. Being who the person that you are, like how do you find your voice coming from a small town? Because you're not the only one who's like a queer kid growing up in a small town.
right. Well, I wasn't just gay, but I was gay and weird, and I had two very loving parents. But of course, it was the '80s, so you weren't really raised by parents. I was raised by the most incredible guardian I could ever ask for, and that was a television. So being in the middle of a cornfield and outside of my family house and being bullied and not even knowing why people were picking on me because I was so unaware that I was so disturbingly attractive and talented and imaginative. There was this glowing box inside the living room, and from horror movies to science fiction to romantic comedies, just the over-exaggerated human story being told on TV, I looked at this guardian named TV, and I said, I want to return to the womb, and I want to be in you. Now, I was a smart kid. By the age of 5, I knew God wasn't real. By the age of 6, I knew Santa Claus wasn't real, but I still had that little bit of Peter Pan in me that to the age of 30 years old, before I got on RuPaul's Drag Race, I still believed fame was a real, tangible thing that was going to save my life.
Right. Well, I'm a much more mature woman than you, but I can relate to the thing of like being a queer kid. We grow up in our imaginations because that's the safe place. So for me, it was like Sonny and Cher and Carol Burnett and all that amazing Bob Mackie. That was my entryway into the queer world. And Hollywood Squares with Paul Lynde, you couldn't beat it. So what do you remember? There was like was there a certain movie or genre of movie or a specific movie that opened the world for you?
Well, I always say to be successful in drag, or for anyone who's creating a false character. And, I grew up from the '80s where people could be a celebrity, but also an extra layer of Andy Warhol-ism to it. Like, Elvira is always Elvira. Pee Wee Herman is always Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
created these cartoonish archetypes of exaggerated humanity
Yes.
that made me so happy.
And at the same time, it becomes like this very real thing. It's this exaggerated character, but there's like an essence of truth in it, and I think that's what you have.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you see new queens now, and they just kind of want to replicate a TikTok where they do drag because they want to replicate something they've seen. But I think the power and and why I am so successful is I created an archetype that was based on 3 very simple things,
Okay.
and that was to be beautiful, to be spooky, and most importantly, to be stupid.
Yeah.
Because the importance.
That's my favorite trifecta.
Yes.
Beautiful, spooky, and stupid.
Yeah, because a lot of people in drag want to use the concept of aggression to hide the fact that they're weak. Like, you bitch, you better, girl, you better work, bitch.
Okay.
Not me. I just say 1 + 0 = me. I was inspired by bimbo
Yeah,
culture of the
yeah.
80s from Angeline or Rhonda Shear from USA All
Oh,
Night.
I love her.
Or Peggy Bundy,
Yeah.
or Elvira,
Yeah.
and I said the power of women, and what I was so jealous of women, is their ability to be smarter than everyone in a
Yeah.
room, but by manipulating them, by acting like a fucking idiot,
But-
and having really big boobs, like a normal person.
But what people don't know is that you have to be smart in order to play that character. Goldie Hawn was really brilliant. I'm really good friends with Jennifer Tilly. And when she first came to
Not
LA,
really.
when she first came to LA, she would put on that character and go on the Tonight Show, and everybody would go, "Ha, she's so stupid," but it was so calculated and so smart. So what I want to know
Or
is,
Dolly Parton.
or Dolly Parton,
Yeah,
exactly.
or Jennifer Coolidge,
Yeah.
and now Hollywood is actually taking a notice about the power of women.
Yeah.
Now, drag queens right now are being called groomers, or being called something that is dangerous for children. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I have no problem with children or drag queens reading books to children in libraries. The reason I don't do it is because I don't know how to read.
There you go.
But,
It's important to point out.
but Hollywood is really noticing that the true power of women is that they are so smart that instead of being the Neanderthal of men,
Right.
are so calculated in how they do it.
Because they have to be.
Yes, and
women have to be. And I don't get any gay man or drag queen who don't like women.
Right.
I can smell that a mile away. Any kind of misogyny.
Well, it's true, and
Yeah.
drag is so much in the news of being considered dangerous and something that's going to hurt children. Like, I don't want to hurt your children. I legally can't be around them for 7 more years.
There you go.
But what drag really is, it's an over-exaggerated pantomime of the Western concept of male-created application of femininity.
Is anybody
So-
writing this down? Because this is a masterclass level sophistry here.
You know where I went to college?
Where?
Fuck you.
I love the creation of the characters, of the drag characters, and specifically, I want to know, when was the first time you tried, where was Sharon Needles' debut? Was this something, a persona that you developed as a kid?
On February 9th, 1996, when I was 15 years old in Newton, Iowa, I hitchhiked the 36 miles to Des Moines to see Marilyn Manson in the Antichrist Superstar Tour. And what I saw was not something most queer people would be attracted to, which they would probably want more of a Britney Spears experience or a Madonna experience. But what I saw was the most shocking, disturbing thing I've ever seen. And since I had no power as a person to stand up for myself in that small town, I saw a drag queen do things to intentionally rattle the cage and be a transgressive monster. And I know you guys love RuPaul, but I am more fucking divine than I am RuPaul. And I just love drag queens that intentionally try to make you sick, because it's really them just trying to make you feel exactly how they made you feel growing up.
Wow, that's a really great way of looking at it. And it's so wonderful that you channeled all of that into your art form. Because a lot of people take the hurt, that they have as children or the hurt they have as bullied kids, and they take it out
become
on the world.
alcoholics.
Right, they become alcoholics. My name is Alec, and I'm an alcoholic. This is actually an intervention, Sharon. We all love you.
Alcoholics go to meetings, drunks go to parties.
So you went to see Marilyn Manson.
It's what I call Sharon Needle's birthday.
Sharon Needle's
And
birthday.
I saw that show, and I went home and I shaved off my eyebrows, and I never grew them back.
At 15?
At 15, in a town of 1,500 people, Newton, Iowa. Did I bring up the meth part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did having supportive parents, parents that really genuinely loved you as is, did that make a huge difference in surviving this small town experience?
When you grow up in middle America, there's two types of parents, and that is kind of white trash farmer parents, or parents that are just so worried about watching you do what you do,
right.
Because, you know,
they're concerned for your safety.
Yeah, they were watching a 15-year-old in 1996 wear a full latex bodysuit.
What did your parents do? What did your mom and dad do?
Well, first I had sex with my dad. No, I'm kidding. I've never met my dad.
Well, we've got a surprise for you. He's here in Pensacola.
No, I was lucky, but in retrospect, now me being an adult and looking back and thinking, if I had a kid, I'd be very worried to see in a world that is so hateful.
Absolutely.
See a 15-year-old innocent little boy just trying to
so
express
vulnerable
himself
in this small town
in
experience.
fashion. And what's weird is I was so shy, but I also had the fucking balls to actually do that.
Right.
And I'm so proud when I look back at those.
Do you think it's because
pictures.
your mom kind of emboldened you, or that was just innate in who you were?
No, yeah, I was unstoppable. And a lot of people want to be famous, but it was written in the celebrities that I would be a star. And there is a reason why I get to speak to 17 people in Pensacola.
This just doesn't happen on its own, ladies and gentlemen. It's called manifestation. It's a secret. Look it up.
It's true. And when you're a dented can, but the goods are just as tasty, it's people like you and me that become stars faster and more genuinely, because what else do we have to fucking lose?
What else do you have to do? It's like I wore glasses, corrective shoes, and a retainer all at the same time in the 3rd grade. I used to kick my own ass at recess. That was my upbringing.
When I was 15, I was 6'1", looked like Jared Leto, and had a huge dick, and I was white. Do you know how hard that is to get through life?
So you're 15.
It could be fatter.
You're 15. Instead of it gets better, it could be better.
Yeah.
I think that's the new.
Boy in Iowa gets better.
It could be better. So let's track you from 15 to where where do you stop performing? When do you start taking Sharon to the stage?
My first show is Human Nature by Madonna in a dirt-floored basement at Faces nightclub on the corner of Court and East 5th Avenue in Des Moines, Iowa.
Wow.
And then my mind, I'm every woman, there on me, to the point where I love goth culture and rave culture and punk culture. And even though I was a faggot, which made me weird, I was also gay and weird, so I didn't even fit into the gay scene in Des Moines. But that allowed me to dip my toe into the Revlon color palette deep end and see so many things. So, you know, I hopped trains, I lived in hippie houses, I was so obsessed with the 90s concept of sub-pop culture, and I'm so proud that I was a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s.
Right.
Because I got the Reagan trickle-down economics, plastic world of the 80s, and then the 90s that really celebrated punk, goth, rave.
Absolutely.
And I just loved weirdos. And
so when you were performing, did you find that you were the only kind of spook queen that you were the only one, like everybody else is doing Britney, everybody else is doing Mandy Moore?
Well, the only reason that I'm considered a goth queen is because in 3 episodes of Drag Race, I did a goth look, and that was just because at the time, I was inspired by goth. Like I said, I'm every woman, they're all in me. And now, I know that I'm being typecasted as a goth queen, but
there's more to her. Yeah. There's more to her than that.
Well, there's way worse things to be typecasted, like a boring queen or a queen that does what every other queen is doing. And I'm more Gigi Allen than Gigi Gorgeous, and I'm more Marilyn Manson than I am Marilyn Monroe, and I'm more repulsive than I am RuPaul. and I'm proud to make queer drag culture look dangerous. I am not going to make your wedding cake. I am not your interior designer. I am not your best friend. I am a goddamn fucking 9/11 in high heels. I want to be a terrorist because as long as we can't say gay in the state of Florida, and as long as drag is being considered something that's dangerous, I'm gonna scare the living fucking shit out of your guts.
You know, every time they say groomer, it sets my teeth on edge because groomers are stealth. Groomers are family members. Groomers are people who, where are you going? We've lost her, ladies and gentlemen. And it's just, it's not what drag queens are. A groomer wouldn't be out in plain sight, dressed like this, attracting attention to herself. Here comes the flask. She's a sharer, Sharon Needles. She's a giver. Some would call her a carrier. So generous. That just sets my teeth on edge. It's the opposite of that. What I wanted to bring up, and thank you for bringing up the limitations of being labeled a goth queen, because you are much more than that. When I first noticed it on the show, is you came out in the apocalyptic outfit.
Boom.
And you had the crown of thorns, or it was a barbed wire crown, and the blood was coming out of your mouth. But it was so impeccably designed. It was put together so well. I mean, there are other queens who try to emulate that kind of thing, but it's all about the execution. It was a complete look, head to toe. You had the persona, you told a story. This is what I want to ask you. Where does your design sensibility come from?
I love a theme party. Literally, winning RuPaul's Drag Race is the easiest thing I have ever done in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, Pensacon is way harder than Drag Race.
No, but your looks were so well done.
It's because I was a downtown Pittsburgh drunk punk clown that drag was not my job. It was my passion, and if I didn't do drag, I was gonna knock someone's goddamn teeth out. The stage has always been my punching bag, and it keeps everyone in this room safe.
I love that.
Yeah, and these veneers were really expensive, so I've been really trying not to do fist fights. But Drag Race was heaven to me.
Yeah, and it was
I went and saw my childhood idol say, for today's mini challenge, we're gonna take garbage and turn it into a look that sounded so fucking fun.
Yeah.
And on the main stage, you're gonna do something else.
I know.
And that sounded fun too.
I know.
And when people are like, I just don't know how I didn't win Drag Race, I just got in my head, I don't know why you didn't win Drag Race either, because it's literally the easiest fucking goddamn game show.
Well, but you had a sense of...
Put on ladies' clothes and have fun. It's so easy.
Yeah. You had a sense of play to it, and you had a sense of, and I think that liberated you. I think a lot of people come into Drag Race having an idea. If you've been on the set, you know, they come into the environment having never been in front of a camera, having never kind of been the subject of a reality program, and they do freeze up. But you didn't have any moments like that.
I mean, half the people on my season had been in front of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like Willem and Chad Michaels were instant divas.
Right.
I was just a kid in a candy store.
Right.
I walked through that pink room and right into the television.
Yeah, you were like, and it's kind of like, did you have a sense of, see, I feel like I've done a ton of movies and television, but every time I cross that gate, Every time that the little arm goes up, I'm like, I'm doing what I dreamt of. You know,
Yeah.
I'm into the
I
television.
returned to the womb of the
Yeah,
person who raised me.
So did you have that moment when you did it feel that way when you walked in and you made your workroom entrance?
Absolutely not. It was written in the celebrities that I would be a star. I was just waiting for the world to catch up.
Oh, there you go. Give her a huge round of applause for that. I love that. I mean, it's the thing of like taking all of your hurt and all of your pain and turning it into gold, which is what you've done.
That's right. Us as faggots, you have two choices. You can make entertainment or you can make entertainment. You can enjoy your own self-hurt, but that's so stupid. We already have TikTok and Reddit to do that for you. We are already so damaged that really focus on making entertainment. Don't make entertainment. Do not romanticize past transgressions and the way that you're feeling. Because
Right.
I don't believe in God, but I do believe in you and I do believe in myself, and you've got limited time to turn this hellhole into heaven.
That's right.
And by hellhole, I mean Pensacon.
But it's, you know, I have an 18-year-old son. My husband and I have an 18-year-old son, and
We did turn 18?
he just turned 18.
Can I give you my number?
All right, right after this, he would actually give it to you. The kids today, the teenagers I find have a huge, they have a lot of anxiety.
Teenagers today have a huge what?
Anxiety.
Oh.
They have a huge, pendulous anxiety. Because of social media, they have this avatar out in the world. And then they have who they genuinely are. And this chasm between those two things, and all this anxiety is born. And not only the social media, there's a lot of, you know, they say comparison is the thief of joy. They're comparing themselves to all the other avatars out there, you know, in social media. And we were lucky enough to not grow up with that. That we kind of, there was still room for us to play and kind of be messed up. Right, and what I'm finding is there's no richness. Perfection to me isn't interesting. I think perfection is so dull and phony, and what makes us lovable and amazing as human beings is that hot mess part of ourselves. You know, the messy part of ourselves, the thing that you don't want to show, and you kind of channel that into everything. So my next question is, so you have the experience, you're meeting all these other queens. How many did you know previously?
None.
You didn't know anybody?
No.
Okay, and you win the show. I was there when you won. How immediately did the show affect you? Like, when did you notice, holy shit, I'm on television and people have watched what I've done?
Well, it was a little different for me because I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was the first person to do 47 countries in 1 year. I was the first person to do Broadway. I was the first person to have a billboard in Times Square. I was the first person to have a #1 record, followed by another #1 record, followed by a #1 record, and that is I'm only sucking my own dick because fame is the final lie. I knew God wasn't real when I was 5. I knew Santa Claus wasn't real when I was 6. And I was an adult that thought fame would be the ultimate Xanax, the ultimate Band-Aid, and the thing that would save me from the torture that is within me. And once you realize fame isn't real, that's when you start saving yourself. So
I would say fame is a booby prize. Give me the cash.
But I was such a flash in the pan, and I single-handedly created the industry for Trixie Mattel's and Bianca Del Rio's and Alaska Thunderfucks. Trust me, people ask me if I've ever been in Alaska, thousands of times.
So how did you handle it? How did you handle that sudden fame? Okay.
I handle it by not trying to live up to anyone else's standard. There is a celebrity that drives me fucking batshit crazy, and it's Dolly Parton, because she makes us all feel like shit. And I have to realize that I am not Dolly Parton. I am Sharon motherfucking Needles. I am damaged. I am dark. I am queer, and I am punk. And I don't need to dominate Hollywood because I'm more Hollywoodened, and I'm just proud and privileged to have the next part of culture that I have. I don't need all the fans in the world. I just need the ones that need me, and those are the damaged queers and fat girls and goth chicks and the dented cans of society. So I was talking to Tracy Mattel the other day on the phone, and she goes, I wake up every day in pure fear that I've done something wrong.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, but you didn't, and I have done a billion things wrong. I'm basically from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at this point, but I'm not going to wake up in pure
You're not
new
waking up in
age
terror about
yeah,
having to maintain a certain level
that's
of
right,
notoriety.
bitch, I'm not Hollywood, I'm Hollywoodened.
Right.
And there's a reason why I don't need all the fans, I just need the best fans. And I know that they need me as much as I need them.
I love that. I love that. And the thing is, that kind of philosophy will take you far. And you're talented. You're so talented.
I'm so fucking talented.
She's so fucking talented. She'll tell you so
See,
herself.
I think it's weird when I see a drag queen and they're not talented, because I forget that
I don't understand it.
I always forget that everyone's not talented.
Right.
Like I don't know how to do my taxes, but I'm really talented.
Really talented. All right, we have time for a few questions, so I'd like to open up. But first, help me in thanking the beautiful, talented, spooktacular Sharon Needles, please. See what? You cried through the whole thing. Yeah, your vulnerability is heartbreaking. It really is.
You're a really good interviewer.
I know! I'm so good at acting like I care. All right. I'm kidding. I adore you. I'm a huge, touch me. Touch an Asian so you can say you did.
It's contagious.
Do we have any questions? Don't be shy. I'm getting
It's
pretty
okay
bashful
if you
myself. It's just Sharon. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I'm gonna do Oprah style. I'm gonna come out to y'all. Watch this. Look at here. Hi. Hello. What a diverse group of white people we have here today. I feel like an exchange student with my host family.
You know what's weird? I was in Mobile, Alabama,
And?
on the road, and they said they didn't like drag queens, but I saw a whole bunch of men in gowns, these white gowns with these pointy
With
white
the pointy hats, it's like earlier, turning them on right now.
It's
All
the
right,
strangest
what's your
drag
name?
show I've ever seen.
Matt. Everybody say hello to Matt.
Hey Matt, don't let people walk all over you.
All right, what's your question for Sharon?
Sharon, the new episodes or the new seasons of Drag Race had the first episode as an all-star talent. So what would your talent be?
Was that in English or, could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the new seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race have a talent variety show
As their first challenge.
as their first challenge.
Oh, yeah.
So what would your talent be?
I love this question.
Okay.
Well, a lot of drag queens sing, which is unfortunate. And being someone that has had 5 #1, we all say that 5 together? 5 #1 albums on the iTunes dance charts. The first LGBTQI person to do that in history. I have more #1 hits than RuPaul. Yeah, it's like they're like Alaska songs, but I sing out of my mouth and not my nose. So I wouldn't want to sing. So what I would do is since I'm a little witchy woman, I would do a magic show where I would bring Michelle Visage from the judging panel and put her into a box, and then you'd see her feet come out. But I'd probably have a person of color's feet come out, so it's obviously not Michelle Visage. But she does think she's a black woman. If you've seen her dick, it is, you would agree with me. And then I would cut her in half, but it would go terribly wrong with blood and guts spraying out of the box. And then I would turn my magician costume into a priest costume, and I would just put a blanket over it and some flowers in it. I love kids.
I see a question in the front row. I'm going to walk right up to you. This is my cardio for the day. Hi, what's your name, love?
It's Charlesy.
Hi, Charlesy. Everybody say hi, Charlesy. Hi, Charlesy. All right, what's your question, babe?
Out of all of the looks on that you did, what is your favorite that was underrated?
On RuPaul's Drag Race, on the show, that was underrated. Charles, I don't know if you know this, but I'm the #1 highest winner of main challenges in Drag Race history. Not a lot of people picked on me, but what I would say is, people think of me as a goth queen. So episode 1 is classic ghoul, blood from the mouth, Sharon.
Yeah.
But what people really forget is episode 2, I'm bleach blonde hair, spray tanned as a wrestler. And one of my favorite things to do is to do exactly what you don't think I'm gonna do. So I will spray tan myself right to a shade that you might consider a blackface, but not that dark. So I would say my most underappreciated look is my spray tan bimbo wrestling look. But I was so pampered on that show. It was like it was a kid in a candy store. Everyone
In
went
the
down.
candy store.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlesy. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Lainey.
Everybody say hi, lady. All right,
It
ladies.
sounds like a meeting.
When did you start using? No, go ahead.
I've actually been a substance abuse counselor for a lot of years, so.
I might need your help.
Yeah,
to do
that's what I
this.
said. This is an intervention.
Yeah, you guys have been standing in lines. I snort them. So.
You very clearly inspired by Divine, being a weirdo, and kind of, I think a lot of people for the modern generation, right, think of you as the just like mother of alternative and punk drag, especially in the mainstream.
Well, thank you for saying that.
I feel that way. How do you feel about, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram influencing kind of how these characters develop now? We're 200 episodes into Drag Race now.
Right. When I was 19, I was in a bar one time, and a 35-year-old man came up to me and asked me if he could buy me a drink. And I was so bratishly, assholey by saying, "I'm sorry, I don't need an old man to buy me a drink." And he looked me right in my eyes and he said, "You're gonna blink your eyes and you're gonna be 35. You're gonna blink your eyes, you're gonna be 65. You're gonna blink your eyes, you're gonna be on your deathbed, and you will never remember, you will never forget that I told you this."
Wow.
So I am not going to judge a newer generation like Sugar and Spice for being applauded for what technology hands them. But I will say, I am disturbed that things like TikTok inspire a generation not to express their true identities, but try to fit in by replicating it. Do I see an Andy Warhol repetitive sense of camp in it? Yes, I do, but I know that they don't. And so to see people not use technology to express how fucking cool they are, but to be so scared that they won't fit in, that they will replicate the dumbest fucking shit you've ever seen, but they have really nice abs, so I keep watching over and over again. And
Like hours of my life.
Yeah, and then I masturbate to it so I can keep up with the young kids. Like, I want to be like everyone else can. Technology is supposed to be a vehicle for artists, and I fear that TikTok it hinders on the insecurities of those who can't. But listen, star power is not for everyone. That's why those who can't always end up canceling. Because in my day, I like to watch Goliath kill the lion, and now people who don't have a fucking inch of talent in their pinky like to sit back and enjoy watching someone's worst day become their most entertaining moment. But there's also a Warhol to that, because your worst day of your life is your most readable chapter. But that is actually not on the fault of the canceller or the star. It's a representation of what our society is, because you get the Hollywood you deserve, not the Hollywood you want. But it also makes it very hard for me to fight for a system that seems more destroying of the most sensitive of people.
I love that.
I'm not a bleached blonde, pretty person who's had life handed to me. So I fight for these people. Pensacon is the weirdest fucking gig I've ever been to.
It's so weird, but I'm having such a great time. We have time for a couple more questions. Hey, beautiful, what's your name?
My name is Gracelyn.
Gracelyn, everybody say hi, Gracelyn! And I'm an alcoholic.
If you had to choose one word to represent your season on RuPaul, what would it be and why?
No one word could describe it because season 4 is a metaphor for the beauty of the queer community. Season 4 had a previously incarcerated African-American 5'6" plus-size divine impersonator. We had Latrice Royale. My season had a silicone surgical Sharon impersonator who is the highest degree of illusion drag. My season had a Puerto Rican little person, Kenya Michaels. My season had a villain like no villain, as much as you say you want to hate her. Ain't no one watching reality TV without a villain. We had Fifi O'Hara.
That's right.
And my season took someone whose name is how straight people get fucking HIV, who is a drunk downtown Pittsburgh clown who stared at a TV in the middle of a cornfield that knew they would never be famous, and America rallied behind them and was a reflection of each and every one of you. Season 4 is the perfect reflection of the beauty of the queer experience.
I love that. Okay, wow. You're spoiling your character being stupid. You're so smart. Who's over here? Who had you did? All right, this is our last question. What's your name?
My name's Christy.
Hi, Christy. Everybody say hi, Christy.
And I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, I just have a ballsy question.
Ballsy.
Okay, can I have a hug?
Can you have a hug?
Yeah.
Yeah, hugs are free. It's the drugs that cost money.
Come on, let's get up here.
Yeah, come here.
Let's get up here. Yay!
It's a hug. Stop applauding.
Okay, this is your ballsy question.
Sweetheart, I have to tell you
See,
one
dreams
thing.
come true.
Nothing
Ladies and
makes
germs.
gay men more happier than hugging women.